welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner. And today is actually, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I kind of wanted to highlight this holiday weekend so far. So kind of like, I'm not sure what to really call it. And sorry, my apologies. I actually just got them putting eye drops in my eyes because it's my allergy medicine so that I'm not, as bad as I normally am outside of it. But, so yeah, I guess this is kind of like a random check-in, like, hey, what's up? And I want to kind of go over one of my highlights that I had recently, but we're going to lead up to it. So Memorial Day weekend has been great so far. This is only Sunday, so it's going to get better. So I'm going to film probably a little bit more about it towards the end of the holiday weekend. And yeah, it's been wonderful so far. I'm already tired and I still have more to do. So it's been crazy and it's going to continue to be crazy. Friday was kind of like my chill day, believe it or not. So my holiday weekend started slightly early. I started my holiday weekend on Friday because I took Friday off. So Thursday was the last work day I had, and I actually, to top off the end of my work day, I had a couple of meetings that were pretty different, important, hopefully great things happen from it. One was, I think I've mentioned and shared with you guys, I am trying to get internally promoted, so with my company that I work for, and so that was one of the things, and hopefully fingers crossed on that. My boss is aware of it, so this isn't like breaking news. Because I'll say this, I'm a firm believer of if you want something, you hold it sacred, but you also don't do that behind someone's back. You need to be transparent. You need to be, honest. And so that's the school I'm on. And then if someone tries to block your blessings from your honesty, the universe will handle that. It's not on you. It's the universe or whoever you believe in, wherever you believe in will handle that. So my blessings and what I have will happen. It may not be in my time, but it'll happen. It may not be exactly how I see it happening, but it's going to happen. You can tell so far with this weekend, it's been a pretty positive weekend. But anyway, so I had that going on, and then another meeting after that was not work related, because I am planning on giving myself, as part of like my birthday gift that I gave myself for this year, because I did not give myself really a birthday gift during my birthday per se. A lot of my birthday gifts are manifesting itself throughout the year, including what I did on Saturday. But anyway, so what I did Friday was Thursday, the meeting I had was, it's a photo shoot. So I'm hoping and planning on getting a photo shoot together. And I'm not going to share what the photo shoot is going to be about exactly, but it's going to be multiple themes. I got price points on it, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. I haven't had a photo shoot for myself or a professional photo shoot really since my senior year pictures, so in high school. So it's overdue. I'm ready to do it, and this photographer, I've been wanting to work with her for years now. I met her a couple years ago, actually randomly just in the city doing a walk. There was this thing called Ravenswood Art Walk. I was just walking there with my partner at the time, and I got sought after as I was walking. They're like, hey, you want to do a photo shoot? I was like, okay. And it's something that she does every year, of course, to bring clients in. And when we did the photo shoot, we vibed, and those pictures were giving what needed to be gave. And I just felt an instant connection with her. And also, she's another person of color. And I also learned a little bit about her history. She's worked with Oprah. I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, okay. So in my head, I did tell her I was fully transparent. And so she actually remembered me when we had our meeting. But I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to work with you again. It may not be this year or next year, but I'm going to work with you again. So yeah, that's where we're at. Anyway, so that was pretty much what happened Thursday. Friday was a rest day because I knew I was going to have a lot going on. I went to the gym, got in, and filmed a lot of content. So yeah, that was good. And so Saturday, which was yesterday for me, was insane. It was a zoo in the best way possible. So I started off my day early. So I woke up around 5 a.m. To get ready to go to a race. So I went to this race. There's a race in the city that they have a Memorial Day weekend. If you're a runner, they have a Soldier Field 10 miler and they also have a 10K. And a 10K, for those who are not familiar, who are not runners, is 6.2 miles. And quite a few people who there do the 10K now because that's a newer event. That's only been a part of this event since last year. And as a result, it's a much larger event now than even what it was before. And before it was already a decent sized event. And it's called the Soldier Field 10 miler because it takes place in Soldier Field Stadium. So it's really, really cool. And you start in the stadium and then you run out on the lakeshore and then you do out and back on the south side of the Lakeshore Drive, the trail. Because they actually did have to change it where you couldn't be on the road. Previous years it was on the road, but they actually had to switch it this year because they didn't have enough police coverage. Because I think there's multiple events going on in the city this weekend, which there typically is, just not, I think there's more this year than before, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, so that wasn't a big deal. That was actually kind of a good thing, but I'm getting ahead of myself there. So I went to this event. So kind of what I'm mentioning though about the 10 miler, I would recommend if you do ever want to do the race, the 10K, if you're starting off, or 10 miler, do it. It's a great race. I've done it every year that I'm in town since I've lived here. I love it. So it tells you something. I love this race. I enjoy this event a lot. And a lot of people who I see, I literally see them every year. So I'm not the only one that feels that way. So in a way, it's like a kind of a little bit of a reunion. So I have pictures with people that I literally see once a year. And it's kind of like, if the Shamrock Shuffle wasn't the kickoff of running season, this one's where it really is, okay, it's time to go. It's go time. Because this is right around the time where people are going to start training for the Chicago Marathon anyway, which is, a big deal here in the city. And anyway, so the Soldier Field 10 miler, I met a couple of people who were out of town who were there. Because those who are not familiar with running events, the reason why I feel like people become runners who do running events and they kind of get attached to it, at least from my perspective, that's how I got sold and kind of got stuck on running. And okay, we're going off subject a little bit real quick, but we'll come back to how the weekend went. But the reason why a lot of people do running events is because you literally see a lot of the same people at the running events. Like I mentioned this just a little bit ago, this event, I see the same people that have done it for years. And I've started doing the Soldier Field 10 miler, I think in 2005, 2006. So some of those people, 2015, 2016. So I've seen a lot of these people since then. And when I run into them in the race, I don't know them from a can of paint like in real life, about their life and stuff like that. But it is enough where I'm like, hey, what's up? I know you. Hey, how you doing? So every year I see the people and it's great. And also you get to meet new people. So that's another thing too. So one person I ran into, I was just literally waiting just to use the restroom before the race. Pre-race jitters, to get that out of the way. For those who aren't really used to that. or hearing that. That's a very common thing. You may not even have to go, but you still have to go before a race usually because you're nervous and for me, yeah, that's just what it is. But one of the people I met, she was from Oklahoma, and she no longer runs, but she walks. She was walking the 10K. So no big deal. And also I saw a lot of walkers who were walking the 10K because the event, it starts at 7 for the 10 miler and 7:35, I want to say, for the 10K people. And the event concluded like 11 o'clock in the morning. So you had time to get it done if you really want to. If you want to walk it, you could. Now the 10 miler, I don't think a lot of people do that. But anyway, so the race itself. Last minute, and I think I said this just a little bit ago, they did have to change a route. Historically, they have made it where you run south on Lakeshore Drive, the actual road, because they close off that road, and then you turn around midway and then get on the Lakeshore path, the running path, because the path is right next to the road, and then run back into Soldier. So you start in Soldier Field. But this year it wasn't that because they didn't have enough police coverage to shut down the road. So instead, there's a bike path that literally is next to the running path. So instead we had to run on the bike path. But the good news is it's early enough in the morning, and also it's a holiday weekend. There wasn't as many cyclists there, so it was a non-issue. Unless you're racing it, I will say that. For me, I had the mindset I'm not racing this race because I'm actually doing another race next weekend that I am racing. And last year when I tried to do that, so I'm basically doing the same thing I did last year, this year again. But last year when I tried to do that, I've kind of burned myself out and I raced the 10K, not 10K, 10 miler. I wasn't trying to race the 10 miler, but I felt good. I just went with how I felt. And then the next weekend when it was the half marathon, I felt dead. So this year I was like, nope, we're not going to do that. Which I think for the most part, I was good about it. I didn't race it, but I did push the pace a little bit to see how I felt. But anyway, I actually ended up running faster this year than I did last year for the race. But it didn't feel forced. So your girl's getting better at this, right? Right. Right. So the other thing that I would mention too is that I ran to some of my running friends who I'm part of a running group with, and we hung out and like kind of took pictures. We were like this and all that good stuff. And then afterwards, and a lot of races, another thing that's an attraction to a lot of races, especially major city races, is you are partying in Soldier Field or at Soldier Field, but you're partying. So there's beer and hard seltzer. So yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm having a beer because I was done with the race within like an hour and a half and some change, basically. So I was done kind of in timely fashion where that could happen. So I got to mingle, hang out, chill, and then I had to hurry up and get back home so I can have a lunch and take a nap. So clearly I didn't partake too much because I was like, okay, no, I gotta go home, take a nap, and also it's still the morning. What kind of person do you think I am? So, right after that, the next thing that was pretty much on the agenda is after the nap, I had to hurry up and get ready because I don't know if I mentioned this, but the major event that I had, the other birthday gift I have for myself is your girl went to the Janet Jackson concert last night. It was awesome. It was so cool. It was so epic. It was everything. And the opening act was Ludacris. So it was awesome. So that's actually why I'm really doing this video. Huge spoiler alert, not really, because that was my highlight so far for this year. It was chef's kiss, guys. Chef's kiss. So this concert is far away though. It's not in the city. It's in the Chicago suburb called Tinley Park. But it's in a large amphitheater. So, I mean, a lot of major acts do their shows and stuff there. It's not like she ain't lose it. Let's not do that. Don't do that to her. Don't do that. That's why I had to hurry up and get home to have lunch and take a nap so I could go ahead and get ready to go, because it was going to take about an hour and a half to get out there because it's far. Indiana's closer than Tinley Park is from where I live. It's insane. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is taking. So basically, and also I was the one who was driving. So I was like, okay, because it was my concert idea. So I reached out to my Ace Boon Coon in the city, my girl, my homie. And so she came, she brought all the snacks, the sandwiches, stuff for us to tailgate. Because the thing is, the person who I reached out to, she's a frequent concert goer. So she knows the ins and outs of all the venues throughout the city, when we need to be there, when it's like, okay, we waited too long to get somewhere, all that. She's very familiar. So that's the other reason why I always bring her. Also because she's one of my close friends here, but also she's so much fun to go to concerts with. Like this is not the first time I went to a concert with her. I invite her to concerts. Like she's the person who I'm like, oh, there's a concert? I already know who I'm bringing. Cool. So we had to get there. So mind you, it already takes an hour and a half to get there. The parking lot opens for parking at 5 p.m. So we left my place here at 3:30 so we can get there on time. No, 2:30. I think we left at 2:30. Was it 2:30 or 3:30? 2:30. We left at 2:30. So we had to leave my place at 2:30 because the funny thing is I sent her the schedule of when things are opening, and she read it an hour wrong. So she thought that the parking lot opened at 4, but actually opened at 5. But that was like the best accident that was a great accident. It was a happy accident, a very, very happy accident. Because when I tell you there already was a line to get into this parking lot, because the thing about this parking lot, there's like 2 ways to get in, and that's it. But it's a large theater. Like the math ain't mathing when it comes to getting in and out of the parking lots. Even with the premier parking. We didn't do the premier parking because she's like, girl, don't do it. Because I was like, should I just buy the premier parking? So I even asked for that because I was like, is that a good convenience fee to like just, get cost-wise? She's like, no, just do the general parking. We'll time it out properly where we can do this. I'm like, okay, cool. So part of also us getting ready, and that's why we end up having to have the tailgating stuff, is because the doors don't open for the venue until like 6. Okay, and we also have seats. We end up doing like lawn reserve, which is different than lawn. Lawn is first come, first serve. You need to hurry up and get up in there. We didn't have to worry about that. Our seats were our seats. They happened to be out in the lawn, but we had like a little, had a wristband and we were good to go. We still could see the show. We actually could still see the show a little bit better than if you were just lawn. And it's covered. Like, it was a whole situation. We had our own little spot. So I had seats versus those who are lawn who don't have seats. So as far as getting in there in the time, like having to rush and get in there or get in line early before like the concert, like before the doors open for the venue, that was a non-issue. That wasn't something we had to do. So we had that kind of time on our hands, but the main thing that we had to struggle and figure out was actually getting into parking, because we need to have a good spot where you could get in there quick. Like, we're in there in a good spot, but also we wanted to have a good spot where it's easy to get out when it's time to go. So we also were timing that properly too, so that we were in the get out of there. Because again, really, it's technically only one way in, one way out. I read the reviews of this venue and I saw that, but I didn't know it until I saw it. And those who have been to Tinley Park, you know what I'm talking about. It's a nightmare. And then you're probably thinking, well, why don't you like take an Uber or Lyft? Number one, that's pricely. I already told you it's an hour and a half, so that's an expensive Uber or Lyft ride. And two, you're going to walk to it 2 miles out to even catch the Uber or Lyft, because this parking lot / amphitheater is on this road that is long, but it's like a far long road. And again, there's only one way to go in, one way to go out. No, it was going to be a nightmare. You might as well just like wait after the show is over with. And neither of us would have probably even gotten home until close to 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning if we would have did that. So that was a hard no. So what we did was the smartest decision, the most sound decision. So anyway, we get there. And we got there early enough where we got in the parking lot fairly quickly once the gates opened for parking. And then after that, because my homie, she just be knowing, we had some sandwiches, we had some snacks, like we had basically a picnic, if you will, tailgating style. And we also had some beverages to get us ready for the show, get us ready. And also to mind you, this now is, I would say this is like 5 o'clock and the show doesn't start until 7:35. So we got time to spare, time to kill. And we're going to do that. We're going to get ready, get ourselves loose and enjoy ourselves. So we did that. We had some drinks. And then when we were like, okay, the gates to get into the show was starting to open up. Let's go ahead and go. So we went ahead and got in the line. The line was a long line. It seemed like that was going to be a nightmare and take forever. But she's like, girl, I promise you, it's going to move fast. And at first I was kind of down on her. And she's like, no, I promise you, we'll get in the show on time. We'll get in the show on time where we can get go to the restroom, get some more drinks, even possibly get some snacks. We'll be fine. So we got through the line just fine. It was a little bit of a long line, but once we got to a certain point, it moved. And one thing that was kind of interesting, because I haven't been to any like bigger shows, venue shows in like since pre-COVID. The last big venue show I was at was the United Center. And this is still when people were still peopling. And this time around, they have it where the tickets are on your phone. So my tickets are on my phone, and you scan it through the scanner and keep it pushing. But I have both the tickets. So I just scanned both. I just scanned it twice. And so we just walked right in. But there's people who are just struggle busting how to do this. And it was like, oh my God. And once you're at a certain point in the line, you couldn't really switch lines. I wanted to, but we just couldn't do that. So we waited. And I was just like, why is this like a chore? Why some of these people can't figure it out? So that was one thing that was kind of annoying and frustrating. And then they have people who work there as part of Live Nation, but they're not really doing anything. They're not helping them scan it. So that was one thing that was like, okay, this is kind of annoying. So that was kind of annoying. And then once we got up in there, I'm asking the people who work there, but I'm thinking they work for the venue. It turns out after talking to my friend, no, they work for Live Nation. So they have like a criteria of things to do, but they don't really know the venue like that. So I'm asking them like, where is the reserved lawn at? And they're like, oh no, you just pick the lawn. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. I was like, why did I pay extra money? Because the lawn, mind you, the lawn seats, like the lawn seats, the ones where you just pick a spot on the lawn to sit, that's $25. Because Live Nation had this concert week thing where you literally could have brought that for $25. That's not what I spent, okay? I spent more. And I was like, so you mean to tell me I just have to get a rented lawn seat from them? Because I was like, the rented lawn seat better come with what the hell I got then, because there's no way I'm going to be basically just sitting here in the lawn, but I don't have a lawn seat, but I paid more for my seat. So it was giving confusion. I was so confused. And then I went to the next person who had the lawn seats, and I showed them my ticket. I was like, am I supposed to get the lawn seat from you, or is there another section that I'm not familiar with? Because again, I just walked into this venue. I've never been in this venue before. And I also found out from my friend, this reserved lawn seat thing is a new concept. They didn't have it before. So it's like, none of these people know that this thing even exists. It's just like, why is this on your website then? And the other thing that was kind of annoying was I called the venue the day before. Actually 2 days before, because I was paranoid of something like this happening. I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to show up and think, oh my gosh, I need to like bring like my chairs. And also too, they had criteria for the chairs. You can't just bring like large camping chairs. You had to bring like chairs that were low height so that it doesn't impede other people's vision and all that, I guess. I don't know. But my whole thing was just like, is this what am I supposed to do? So, and also mind you, all this is happening. We're just trying to get seats so we can hurry up and go to the restroom. One at a time, by the way, because we don't want to leave stuff out and then just us go. So we're like, okay, I gotta use the restroom. Like both of us have to use the restroom, but we need to get seated first. Because we're still not understanding what this reserved lawn thing is, because no one that we go to is explaining to us properly what this even is. The show isn't starting right away. This is still 6-something. We still have like an hour to kill. So it's fine, but it's just annoying. It's just kind of like, yo, what is it? Like, I don't understand. So we then decide, okay. So I went to the restroom after, so we basically end up getting like the rental lawn seats and sat in the lawn, thinking that's what we were supposed to be doing, and found a spot that was fine and thought that's what we were supposed to be doing. So I went to the restroom after we were kind of, had a place to like chill for a minute. And then she turns around and goes to the restroom. But shout out to my girl, the homie. She, before she went to restroom, sides, let me mosey about. Let me survey the venue a little bit more. Basically, look around, see what's good, all that. And then she finds where we're actually supposed to be seated at. There actually is a spot that was fully reserved that, literally to my point, were rows. Because I was trying to tell her, I was like, no, in the tickets, it has rows. This doesn't make sense what we have going on here. I don't know if this is the right section. So I was saying when we were like walking and reserving our spot, I was like, this doesn't seem like this is correct. So I wasn't 100% sure, but I just didn't know because again, I haven't been to a concert in for a large venue, or even, I've never been to this venue, number one. Number two, I haven't been to a large concert since probably 2018, 2017. It's been a minute. It's been a long time. So I didn't remember. I was like, I don't really know. So she found out. She's like, girl, our seats are over there. Like, she's texting me. She's like, they're over there. I was like, for real? She's like, yeah, I think that's where we're supposed to be at. I was like, and I saw it because my tall ass can see everything. So I was like, oh, what? Okay, cool. And she's like, so I asked her, like, texting her, by the way. I'm just like, so does this mean, I'm like, should I just like take your glasses and go? She's like, yeah, leave those chairs there. Have the people who are already there, they got some free rental chairs. You're welcome. And I was like, bet. So I left the rental chairs there, and I told the people who were around us, because we already kind of were mingling with them and already getting to know the crowd that we were hanging out with. Because we were like, okay, we're about to have a good time tonight, right? And so they're like, oh my gosh, thank you. I was like, yeah, bye. We found our seats. Sorry, we're in the wrong spot. We're going over there. So I went over there, got my wristband, and we were good to go. Off to the races. And I kiki with the people around us right there. I was like, okay, we're going to have us a good night. But then one thing we noticed before the show started, that section was empty. And I'm thinking a lot of people didn't know. She asked us, she's like, I'm wondering how many people did what you did and thought that what they did was correct. I'm like, probably a lot of people. I don't think I'm the only one that would have done that. Because again, the people who were handling the concert were not clear or didn't understand that this section existed. It's only because she got curious and was walking around, snooping around, surveying the area, that we found out our correct section. So that's the other thing I would say that was kind of annoying about this venue, is that the right hand did not know what the left hand was doing. So from a venue standpoint, I'll go again if it's like similar situation, if it's a bucket list deal like Janet is for me, because we're gonna get to the good part. But if it isn't like a Janet Jackson or even like any legacy acts that's part of like my era of growing up and coming of age, I have no interest in going back to that venue. And I didn't know why people kind of gave me that look when I told them where the venue was, but now I know why. It's just not a well-organized venue from the parking standpoint, even to when people are working the events. No, a lot of people don't know what the right hand don't be knowing what the left hand's doing. Now the restroom lines, awesome, in and out. That was, because there's plenty of restrooms, so I do appreciate that. A lot of venues and concerts, venues, that a lot of times could be a whole entire headache. That was a non-issue, so that I appreciated. Getting drinks, like of the adult variety, non-issue. Now where the problem also was, so we got one more complaint and then we're gonna move on to the good stuff, is food and actual water. Those lines were a headache the whole entire time. And the places where you could get the alcohol at and the places where there's buckets of like beverages, none were actual water. It was either alcohol or sparkling water. I'm sorry, people. And by people, I mean people who run events. And this is, sparkling water does not take the place of actual water. Sparkling water, in my opinion, it's a substitute for pop or soda, depending on what region you're from. Or if you don't want to drink a lot of alcohol, it's a substitute for that. It's not a substitute for water. So I'm just like, okay, so you mean to tell me you want all of us who basically have to drive to this venue, because most of us probably had to drive to this venue because it's in the middle of a suburb that has nothing else going on besides this venue. You want us to get drunk easily but not be able to hydrate properly? Where do they do that at? So that's my last rant and kind of complaint was that. Oh, and then we had pizza, but the pizza wasn't that great. It was dry, so it also required more water. Not sparkling water, water. And this is one of those things where I was so happy I was there with my friend, because she was like, before we even went to the show, she was like, bring you a couple things of water, like gallons of water. We'll drink a lot of water in the car. And I'm glad we did that, because if it wasn't for that, I probably would have been kind of dehydrated being in that show, because the lines to get actual water were in the same lines as the food lines, which were always long. But like no wait for like getting alcohol and no wait for like getting like sparkling water. And it's just like, why didn't you just put the sparkling water in spots where like you can get the food and get the actual real water in the buckets? Anyway, so the opening act, Ludacris. I'll say this. I know Twista is not part of the opening act. I knew Ludacris' set was very, very short. I really, really wish he would have did the song with Twista off of Chicken and Beer. For those who know, you know. But Ludacris was child. I knew with Ludacris opening up, I was gonna burn so many calories. I know I burned a ton of calories yesterday because I was getting it on the floor. And first, before Ludacris got on the stage, his DJ got us warmed up, got us together, and was playing some of the old school songs like some New Edition and Bobby Brown, Velvet DeVoe, you know, the usual suspects, the errors of Jan Jackson's music, because it transcends all that. Anyway, and then DMX, like, you know, just getting us going, getting us hype. And then from there, we went to Ludacris. And Ludacris set, it was just him. It was no one else, just him and the DJ and his friend. And it was hype. It was hype, it was hype, it was hype. It was so good. And Ludacris still looks good. He still looks the same, by the way. He's aging well. And he did shout out that his movie right now is #1 in theaters because he's in the Fast and Furious movies. He's like in all those. Pretty much, I think, since like Fast and Furious 2. I think that's when he first started going on the franchise, and he's been on ever since. But anyway, he did that thing. He did that. It was awesome. I do have some footage of that. I'm not sure if I'm going to share it. I may or may not. But yeah, he did that. He did that. He also too kind of implemented some of his music videos, because Ludacris, during that time when he was a rapper and not really doing the movies yet, he had some really innovative music videos. It was like him, Missy Elliott, and Busta Rhymes. Those were the three that had the crazy music videos. That was like during the golden era of music videos where they were wild. It was like a movie and you were enjoying yourself. So he had a couple of those things. He had the big shoes from like one of his music videos. He had the big arms from one of his music videos. It was awesome. It was a good show. And his Jesus piece was blinging. And also, I really love that Janet picked him as an opening act, because he was crooning us ladies the whole entire time. And the people around us who saw me smiling, because they're just like, "Oh, you are into Ludacris." I was like, yeah. And he did Splash Waterfall, which that's the one. He started off with the remix version of it with Raphael Sadiq from like the Whatever You Want. Boy, you know, it's technically a Tony Tone song, but I always refer to Tony Tone as aka Raphael Sadiq because he's like the most known person from that group. And he's the one who's still kind of active as far as musically and artistry and all that. But anyway, and he's the one who's like the head of the voice of Tony Tone a lot of times. But like he starts off the Splash Waterfall with that version of it, and then he goes to the other one that dun dun oh dun 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 oh dun 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 oh, say it, and everything. And I'm like, it was so good that I was like, oh my gosh, I still have Janet. After Ludacris, I still got Janet to look forward to. Okay, this is gonna be a whole entire movie. So I was hyped already, and my friend was hyped as well. She was like, because also I surprised my friend with these tickets, by the way, because it was a birthday gift for me, but I also wanted to do something nice for someone who has become a friend of mine since living here. Post-pandemic, we kind of became friends. Well, kind of a little bit while it's still a thing. The outside of closing and the outside of reopening. We became friends during that whole time frame. And when I tell you, I appreciate her, I really appreciate her. So right away in my head, I knew when I was going to get these tickets for myself for my birthday, I already know she's coming. That's who I'm bringing with me. I know she'll find a way to make herself available. I didn't even ask right away. I just went ahead and got the tickets. I was like, are you available? And I told her when it was. She's like, I can be. And I told her it was Janet Jackson, and that was it. She didn't know, because I wasn't going to tell her. I wanted to surprise her. So she didn't know until the day before when I sent her the information for the tickets that Ludacris was going to be there too. So she was extra hyped because she freaking loves her some Ludacris. She's like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, yes. I was like, ah. So I'm not going to lie. I kind of got my whole life when she found out that Ludacris was going to be there too. So yeah.
Yes! Yes! Ow!
Next, the reason why we were there. Miss Janet, if you nasty. When I say, and please, universe, God, whatever, please don't take it literally. I was satisfied after that. I was fully satisfied after seeing Janet. I almost cried when I saw her. I fangirled out when I saw her. I was like, oh my God! I literally did that. And my friend next to me was just like, oh my God. She's never seen me make that reaction. She's like, because I'm pretty like, for the most part, but I am silly, but I'm not that animated like that. And I just literally kind of lost my shit a little bit, forgetting like there's other people around me. Because I was like, I can't believe that's her. I have been a Janet Jackson fan since I was a little girl. Even when it comes to like how I view myself as a woman and as a Black woman, I will say this. I always look to her as a blueprint for that in a way. And I know you're not supposed to do that with celebrities and whatnot. And I don't do that normally. She's the only one. She literally was the only one that I ever did that with. Because she was so much a huge part of my childhood. Like, she dominated those charts from my birth, basically, all the way until, well, the events that happened due to white peopling. We're not going to go into that. We're going to say positive. But anyway, like, particularly the guy from CBS doing what he did. But anyway, I just love that she's right now getting her flowers that she deserves, because she does deserve those flowers. And she's from the only royal family I recognize, which is the Jackson family, because I don't recognize the other one with the colonizers. I don't recognize that one. But so yeah, this was like everything. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I am seeing her. And she did all the hits, and she has a lot. She has a lot of them. And she even did some of the album that did not get as much mainstream play due to the situation I just alluded to, which I appreciate that, because, side note, real Janet Jackson fans still listen to that album. I did listen to that album and I supported that album even though they were trying to get her out of the paint at that time. I still supported that album. I have pretty much had at one point all of her albums from Control on. She has 2 albums from prior to Control, but that was also before she actually had Control. That's why, Control's Control. Because those first 2 albums she didn't even really want to do. That was something that like her dad made her do and stuff like that. So she has some songs from that, and I do actually know some of those songs too, even because when I tell you I freaking love me some Janet Jackson, I love me some Janet Jackson. Like, I'm not a stan because I have a life and I'm grown, but anything that's close to that or still respectable, that's me when it comes to Janet. Like, don't talk to me about something she did. Don't be bringing that Super Bowl energy to me and put the blame on her, because I will not talk to you ever again real quick over that. I treat Janet Jackson like she's my family member. That's how I feel about Janet Jackson. Okay, I went back and watched Good Times because she was on Good Times. I wasn't outside or even alive or even thought of when that was a show. But that's how much I love Janet Jackson. Okay? Let's be very clear. So me seeing her and me seeing that she still is getting it on that floor, and when I tell you she's still getting it on that floor and making it look easy, some people half her age could never, she was still getting it on that floor. She was dancing her behind off, and her mic was on. Her mic was on. And she actually hit some notes, because she's never always been, okay, she is a performer, so she was never been known for being someone who has a voice per se. She has a very distinctive voice, but she was never known for that. And because even the people you love the most, you gotta be real. You gotta tell them the truth. That's a part of loving someone. You don't just love them for no reason. You gotta tell them that you gotta say the truth. And that part I've always known. I've known she was always more of a performer versus a singer. But I was there. She hit some notes at the end. I mean, she has hit some notes. And there was no cracking. There was no, it wasn't off. It was a note. And it was beautiful. Because there was a couple of songs that she did which were slower songs, and she was sitting down and singing. And again, she did the song again, and that's one of my favorite songs. It's one of the most beautiful ballads ever. And that's the song that's off the Poetic Justice soundtrack. I don't think it's on the Janet. I think they might have added it to the Janet album, but it was originally on the Poetic Justice soundtrack. That's when she first started having her hair looking the way it was for the Janet album, because then the Janet album came after or around the same time as Poetic Justice, the movie, came out. Which, by the way, oh yeah, you're welcome when it comes to Janet Jackson. Like, culturally, she's just the icon. She's just her, okay? Like, the braids. We call them Poetic Justice braids. The box braids. We also call them, at least in our community, the Black community, we call them Poetic Justice braids. That's from her, okay? Yeah, my friend didn't know how much of a fan I was until we were at that show. And then when she saw, because right when the show opened, before she got on stage, they did a montage of all of her looks and her evolving. So start off with her being Penny on Good Times, and like it just kept going until it showed her today. And then after that, voila, she was on stage and just giving that fierce look that she could only give with her hair up like this and just, oh, because by the way, she did do this. I was like, ah! You know how many times we were like saying, go Janet, go, because she was getting it. She was getting on the floor. And she did the Uzi vert. She did do the Uzi vert. Her version of it, but she did it. Look good doing it too. But so she started off the show with this nice cat suit. I was like, now you being in your mid-50s wearing a cat suit and it looks good on you. And her being older and having a little bit more weight on her, because she's always fluctuated with her weight. But one thing about her, she always looks good. And she looked good. Looked good on that stage. I high-key was crushing on her. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this lady's like grown. But like, I'm just like, oh my gosh. I was like, why am I falling in love with her again? Like, it was so weird. But anyway, where I was at was they was doing a montage before they got her on stage and her wearing that cat suit. And one of the montages that they had was her with that red hair, the velvet rope era with her with the red hair. And my friend Brittany looked at me and looked at her and she was like, that's what you were talking about with Janet Jackson Red when you had your hair red last year. I was like, yes. This is even before she was touring or anything. Like, she was like, you literally called what you had going on Janet Jackson Red. I was like, yeah, because she's the first person I saw that had that kind of red. And I've always wanted to do that red as soon as I started playing with color again with my hair. And so I did that last year. I'll post a picture of what exactly it looked like, but I literally did have that Janet Jackson red in my hair for a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, icon. She's just iconic to me. Body piercings. I wanted to get body piercing because of Janet. Like, you know how much stuff I want to do because of Janet? And when I mean body piercings, I mean, I had other body piercings that I no longer wear. But it was because of Janet. I was like obsessed with Janet. But anyway, so, okay. So I as you can tell, I can barely contain my excitement talking about her because I just am still kind of high-key in shock that I saw Janet. I just can't believe it. I cannot believe that happened. I feel like I just dreamt this whole entire thing up. Like, is this real life? I just can't believe it. I look at like the pictures I have in my phone and I was like, I wasn't really there, was I? No, I was there. It's crazy. It's crazy. Actually, once I got home, I barely could sleep. I was tired driving home from the venue, but then when I got home, I couldn't sleep because I was like so happy that happened. I was so happy. I don't think I've been this happy in a long, long time. And the fact is, and I'll go on my spiel about why all this meant everything to me, but let's talk about the show itself. So the show was great. She had she called them 5 acts. And it was different eras of hers that she kind of broke down. She did sprinkle in her major hits that weren't always part of the same era. So definitely her show had a theme because the tour is called Together Again. So she definitely had that theme of Together Again. So she did a couple, and one thing I also liked was she did a couple of the B-sides. And the B-sides she did were the B-sides I love. She has a lot of B-sides I love though. But so because again, I said I've heard and listened to all her albums, and at one point in time had all her albums. Yeah. But the production was flawless. At first, I thought when she first started performing, and I think they adjusted it fairly quickly because they had to make the adjustments from Ludacris being on stage to her. I thought the band was louder than her, but they made the adjustments where she and the band's sounds were together. And that's like, I don't know if that was an amphitheater issue or a production issue. I don't know what goes on to that, but that was at the very beginning kind of a little shaky. I was a little concerned. I was like, oh no, no, no. But they made the adjustment so quickly that it was almost not noticeable. But at first that was kind of a thing. She had 4 different outfits, so 3 wardrobe changes. And the funny thing is, before it started, me and my friend, we were both trying to figure out how many wardrobe changes she was gonna have. And she predicted 3, and I was like, yeah, she's gonna have 4 outfits, I think. So we both said something similar, but we both basically were in agreement on how many outfits she was gonna have on how many wardrobe changes she was gonna have, and we were correct. And her dancers are amazing. She has the best dancers, of course, all male. And also her outfits, minus the cat suit. The cat suit was the only thing that she wore at the beginning. She didn't wear it for very long. She was able to move and stuff in it, so it wasn't a big deal. But like all her other outfits were comfortable Janet. Because Janet, for those who are huge fans, we all know that Janet Jackson, she's a tomboy at heart. Has always been a tomboy at heart. So she always has been giving sexy, but tomboy sexy. Like she's the blueprint of tomboy sexy. Like she might show some cleavage here. Things might be tight up top, but then she has these long flowing pants that's very like tomboy. And one of her outfits was kind of a similar homage to, so after the cat suit, which was sparkly and amazing. It was like sparkly gold with like purple. Her next look was like and if you're going to go see her, I wouldn't recommend seeing this part of the video. I would skip through this part because I don't want to spoil it for you, because the set and all that's probably going to be the same everywhere you go. But her other look that she had was like a homage to like the Velvet Rope tour, which was fitting because that was around, she was doing a lot of songs that were Velvet Rope related in this set. But she also did stuff from Janet album and stuff from Velvet Rope, but her outfit was definitely more of like the Velvet Rope tour outfit. It was like kind of a play off of that. The third outfit that she had on was the All For You era, I would say. And so she had kind of like an outfit that was similar to the song, the music video, Doesn't Really Matter. Doesn't matter, da, 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 doesn't matter, da, 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 da. That song. So she had an outfit that was kind of an homage to that. And that's another thing that's also awesome. Because she is so iconic and has so many eras within her own music career, she could pay homage to her own stuff, no problem. And then even when she does like dance breaks, she sometimes will incorporate all her old songs into the dance break. And it's just giving when needs to be gave. But anyway, and she had multiple dance breaks, by the way. And so she was, when I tell you she was dancing still. And I'm just so impressed that at her grown age, she's still doing this. The way she's doing it is still very much a high level. And I would pray and hope I can be like her when I'm her age. I really want that for me because I love that for her. And she was looking flawless. So flawless. The baby hairs were laid. She had this nice style and just looking like classic Janet, but older. Still looking like her though. It still was her. And then the other outfit, I feel like I'm missing one. I don't think I am though, but I might be. I don't know. The other outfit, no, I'm not. The last outfit was like a Rhythm Nation outfit. It was kind of a play on Rhythm Nation. And it also said, she also had like a crop top that said Rhythm Nation that was blinged up, and that was kind of cool. But yeah, overall, such a good show. I loved it. I filmed it. I did not sit down much. I really only sat down during the set changes because she did have a lot of set changes, which is like production. And whenever wherever she had outfit changes, I sat down a little bit. But like, it was just enough to get a breather, get your water, have your drink. And then I was back up dancing and, doing what I need to do, trying to do the dance moves still, because I still remember them. One thing I was kind of disappointed in myself is that I forgot some of the lyrics to some of the songs. But to my credit though, I know a lot of music songs in my head. And I know a lot of lyrics, and I have them memorized. And some of them I was actually surprised I was able to pull the song still. But it's just like, she's been doing this since 1984. And I remember most of the song lyrics from that on. That's a lot of song lyrics to remember. That's 38 years of songs. Okay? 39 actually. 39 lyrics worth of songs. Yeah, by the way, I did just high-key told you how old I was. But that's 39 years worth of songs. That's a lot to remember. But I remember most of them, so there's that. But anyway, so the show was awesome. Now, when it came to the foolishness of trying to leave, child. So me and my friend, we had a game plan. We're like, okay. Because I eventually was like, crap, I'm going to have to get this set list. I didn't want to because I liked being surprised and knowing what she was doing next. I hate having to know what the set list is, but we have a game plan of we need to be out of here. We need to leave like right before the last song, aka the encore. We need to leave then, or else we're going to be here for 2-3 hours waiting for everyone to leave. We're going to be stuck. And none of us, and we didn't want that. And she was like, it's your day, wherever you want to do, it's fine. And I was like, no. I want to go home. I'm tired because I already told you what my day has been. I've been up and out and about since 5-something in the morning. And now at this point, it is, at the time when we were trying to leave, it was around 10:45. And I'm like, okay, we have to try to leave before that. So we're trying to leave, but unfortunately everyone has the same idea because the last 2 songs are the songs. The one song that I was like, I can't leave during the song. The encore, I was okay with leaving because she actually did a remix of that song earlier on. And I think she did that intentionally for those who need to, scoot away for me, like people like me, which I was like, Janet, good looking out. Because I personally like the remix version of the song versus the original. I love the original too. I love both. But the remix used to be my jam because it's like the it's good for that. So the second to last song was the one, the one that made her, that catapulted her career and made her the icon she is today. And so I was like, I can't leave during this song. I have to stay. So after that song was over with, we're doing our dance, but we're doing our dance scooting that way because we're like, we got to go. And so we did that. We left. We're trying to leave. And then everyone has the same idea. And at first I was thinking maybe we should have left the opposite way. And my friend was like, no, we probably still should go the way we're going to go. And I think either way it would have been the same results. People just are dumb. Some people are just really, really dumb. Not everyone, some people are. So we're trying to leave, and everyone has the same idea trying to leave. But now the encore song is on. Now she's performing the encore song. And people who thought they were going to leave stop in the middle of trying to leave, blocking people who are still trying to leave because they stopped because she's performing. And I'm just like, and I was saying it out loud. I didn't even care. I was like, dude, pick a side. Either you're going to stay and enjoy until it's over with or leave. I'm on the school of, look, I saw most of what I wanted to see. I want to get home in a decent time. I'm an adult, okay? I'm not 20 something. I'm not trying to pretend I'm younger than what I am. I want to go home. And I want to feel full no craziness. I'm ready to go. So we're trying to leave. And then there was a Becky, drunk. She's like, I lost my friend, and tries to pull her friend up as me and my friend, we're literally holding each other trying to get out. And then she tries to pull her friend between us, seeing that we're locked. And I gave her this look like, lady, I will punch you in the face, respectfully. And she gave me this look like, oh, my bad. My lady's lost. I'm like, we're all in the stampede of trying to go home. Quit being dumb. Because she was drunk. I wasn't drunk. I was very sober. Because at this point, I'm ready to go home. And so I just gave her this look like, lady. And so once she stopped doing that, she went around and grabbed her friend that way, which was the correct way of doing that instead of trying to squeeze our break because, girl, bye. So then after that, we get out of that foolishness, but then we have we're in this stampede, but then I can literally see, not even that far away, that it's open space, plenty of room to leave. It's not stampede. And the reason why we're in this stampede, I saw, because these people in front are just doing this two-step and trying to leave at the same time, trying to be cute. I'm like, dude, two-step over by the stage and get out of my way. So I had to break the two. So we were people were trying to leave. We're all trying to break this two-step up because there's plenty of us like me who are trying to leave. And they're just trying to do this random. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I realized when it comes to large concerts, I can't stand drunk people. Especially non-self-aware drunk people get on my nerves. I'm like, I just want to go home. I have a hike, okay? Some of y'all live on the south side, so it's not going to take that long for you to get home. It's going to take an hour and a half for us to get to our respective places. Move, you know? So once we got out of there, I'm going to have to cut that out. My friend and I, we gave each other the thumbs up here of, oh, because we know each other from running. We both just like, run. And so we just ran up out of there, literally. I am like, okay, I guess this is my cool down for my race. I'm running up out of there because I don't want to get stuck in any more foolishness. I'm ready to go. And so we ran basically close to until we got to the parking lot. And then I was like, okay, now it's smooth sailing. Let's go ahead, get to the car. She knew about where we parked at because I forgot. But I mentioned that I was going to probably forget. So she was able to remember for me. And then I just had my panic button. I was pressing the panic button to find the car. Unfortunately, due to the type of vehicle I have, my panic remote sounds different than everyone else's. So I know my car when I hear it while everyone else's sound the same. I'm like, oh, thank God I have a different car than most people. Thank God. So found the car and then I got up out of there. Now getting up out of there was annoying, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. because people were walking in front of like cars and stuff, just being stupid. I want to go home. When I have my mindset of I'm ready to leave, I'm ready to leave. You need to just be about my way. I'm not even kidding. That's how I roll. It's nuts. I'm not gonna really create a crime, but I just give that energy like I might. This might be the day I make an exception to the rule. So my overall review, this was everything. It was everything. I was so happy to see Janet. I was so happy that I finally got this opportunity. And one thing that also I was proud about was I did this for me. I paid for these tickets with my money. A lot of her songs have resonated for me throughout the years, including when she did like her whole set of Control. You know how much of me being an independent woman I identify myself with? A lot of those lyrics, being an empowered, fierce, sexy, Control, Black woman. Janet, everything. It's everything. And she was preaching this stuff back when it wasn't, city girls weren't city girling yet, okay? And it wasn't in the way of scamming or any of that. It's just beautiful femininity of awesomeness. And so I was just so happy. And I'm still really, really happy that I got to go to this show. Like, I'm on cloud 9. I'm so happy. I was gonna go to gym and stuff today. I don't even care if I go. Like, I'm happy. That's just how I feel about it. It was just like the best thing ever. Ever for me. And even one of my favorite content creators, Ashley Miller, she was at the show. My friend was just like, why don't you go down there and say hi to her? I was like, no. She's having her moment seeing Janet. I'm having my moment seeing Janet. And also too, I feel weird. I don't want to just reach out. If I was ever to run into any content creators, I want to just organically run to them. I'm not going to like go out my way because that's just not how I roll. Now if it was Janet, I probably would be starstruck and try to run to her and stuff. But probably not. I probably would freeze, high key, because yeah, I have a history of freezing when I meet someone who I really am like idolize. So yeah, it was everything. It was worth it. I'm so glad I treated myself to this. It was a true treat. And yeah, this weekend, I know it's going to be better because I have plans today. I have plans tomorrow. And this year so far, such a redeeming year from last year and the year before that. It's such a redeeming year. I'm so happy that I'm at this point in my life where I'm truly finding myself without outside influence and truly enjoying being single. Like, people, I think when I say that, people are confused because usually people at my age don't really believe that, or they say it, but they're not being truthful. When I tell you I really am at that point in my life where I'm enjoying being single and discovering me now, I mean that. I'm saying it with my chest when I say that. Like, I'm at that point where I'm happy and I'm reinventing myself again. Because that's another thing too. Like, Janet is one of the queens of reinventing herself. And I identify that. I identify with that a lot. I think in life, if you don't know how to do that, you become stuck. And I think there was a moment where I was stuck. I would say last year and the year before that, I really did truly feel stuck. And the ironic thing was, I didn't do behavior which would make you think that I felt that way. Because in the past, in my younger years, when I felt that way, I, went to drinking a lot and all that. And I really didn't do that last year before that. I just kind of sat with it. And I also had other people in my life that didn't really contribute to it in a positive way, which since are no longer in my life. And I'm which seems like that would be bad news, was actually great. Like, I'm really, really thankful though that things are going the way they're going now. And I was even when we were waiting to go to the concert and all that, we're talking about like the things that we have going on, and it's just some adult grown stuff that I'm just so pleasantly surprised I've gotten to this point, and it's me doing it. I'm not relying on others to do these things for me. I'm doing things for me. And I don't know. Even when I first moved to Chicagoland, I couldn't say that to be true. And now that that's what it is, it's been wonderful. And I think that's why I idolize someone like Janet Jackson so much, because she's a blueprint of that. She really is. And even with losing the icon that we lost recently of Tina Turner, that's another just Black excellence. It's just like, oh. So I guess this video does still fit the theme of the melanin, and actually fits the theme of the nostalgia. See how I always put it together for you guys? Anyway, that concludes so far of how the weekend has went. I may or may not post another video to check in, because when I tell you that this was a highlight so far of the year, yeah, it was that. It definitely was that. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're getting anything out of the content. It's your girl Sharon, aka the Melanin Nostalgic Runner, and I will see you next time. Next time. Bye.